Welcome to Less Than 12 Parsecs, the fastest Star Wars podcast in the galaxy. Now here's your host, Tim McMahon.
Hey, it's Tim. Today is the day of the big game. I think technically I'm not allowed to say Super Bowl since I don't have the express written consent of the National Football League, but oh wait, I just did. Anyway, this got me thinking about sports in the Star Wars galaxy. There are plenty of them. A quick Wikipedia search brings up way more than you would think there are. Many, if not most, fall under the Legends banner, but still, they are fun to read about. Anyway, here's my top 5 favorite sports of the Star Wars galaxy. Well, maybe I shouldn't say favorite, but they are the first 5 that popped into my brain before I went to Wikipedia.
Number 1.
Pod racing. One of my faults with The Phantom Menace is the editing. The pacing of the movie is just very herky-jerky. Things start to get exciting and then slow way down. Then they get exciting again and slow down. And it goes back and forth way too much in my humble opinion. But that said, the pod racing scene is brilliant. The editing here is top-notch in my book. I know that some fans complain it's too long, and other than the fact that Anakin wins the race, spoiler alert, it just doesn't really advance the story. Yeah, I get that, but still, it's so much fun. As I was saying, the way the scene is edited together is brilliant. You always know where the racers are, you know how they relate to each other in the race, and you can follow the action effortlessly. Even if you watch the race without the sound on, you would completely understand what Anakin is doing, what he's up to, and how he's able to come from behind. But you wouldn't want to watch it without the sound, because Ben Burtt's sound design here is perfect. Every racer is unique, and they all have a moment to shine in your ears. That's a thing, right? And then there's the music, or lack of music for much of the race, which is a brilliant choice by Lucas and Williams as well. I could go on and on, but I won't, other than to say that to me, this is the best part of The Phantom Menace. Even better than the 3-way lightsaber duel at the end. Yeah, I said that. What, you disagree? Okay then, bring it on.
Number 2.
Holochess, aka Dejarik. Although I learned today that technically, Holochess and Dejarik are 2 different games. Thank you, Wikipedia. This game first captured my imagination as a small child. I'm not sure if it was the Harryhausen-like animation, the design of the monsters, or the fact that they were colorful holograms that struck me the most, but it was definitely some combination of these factors for sure. Dejarik has made a bit of a comeback of sorts recently. It was seen on the Falcon again in The Force Awakens, and brilliantly, an analog version of this game was seen in Saw Gerrera's hideout in Rogue One, played with dice. As a tabletop role-playing game nerd, I love that so much. Hardcore fans have come up with a set of rules for this game, and there are even people working on an augmented reality version in their spare time. Why Lucasfilm never created a video game version or a mobile app of this game is completely besides me. And yes, I hear you right now saying, hey, you said this episode was supposed to be about sports, not games. Well, chess used to be an Olympic sport. It's true, look it up. So that counts from where I sit. Plus, actually, it was kind of hard to come up with 5 sports, so there is that.
Number 3.
Noonaball. What is Noonaball, you ask? It's only seen briefly in the background of Episode 2, when Anakin and Obi-Wan enter the Outlander Club, you know, the place where the guy sells the death sticks. It's the football-like game played by rolling droids seen on the big screen in the background. This always kind of reminded me of the video game Cyberball. Anyone else remember that one? Anyway, even though you barely see the game in the movie, I'm putting it on my list because it is very obviously just American football played with droids. Now, normally I hate real-world references in Star Wars. I mean, have you heard my rant about the Wookiee Tarzan yells? Ugh. But my love of football and the fact that today is the day of the big game made me add it to this list. Here's a fun fact. Did you know that instead of a ball, the game is played with a live Nuna, a flightless bird reptile creature from Naboo? Gotta love Wikipedia. You learn something new every time.
Number 4.
Sport shooting. Okay, this one's a bit of a stretch, but hear me out. This is a situation where my brain likes to fill in the blanks and make up its own backstory. The pistol that Princess Leia uses at the very beginning of A New Hope to blast stormtroopers is described as a sporting pistol. This leads me to believe that sport shooting is a thing in that galaxy far, far away. And why not? They have racing sports and ball sports just like we do. Why not shooting sports? What really gets my imagination going though is how would their version of shooting sports be different than ours? I love the tech of Star Wars and I love the shooting competitions in the Olympics. And to combine these 2 things in new and interesting ways would be really cool to see. I'm pretty sure the Star Wars version would have a lot more pew-pews than we do here on Earth.
Number 5.
Taras Kasi. Taras Kasi? Okay, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that. And forgive me for putting this one on the list. If you don't know what Taras Kasi is, it's the Star Wars martial arts fighting style that was brought to life in a PlayStation 1 video game back in the mid-1990s. It was a Star Wars clone of the old Virtua Fighter games. If you ever wanted to see Princess Leia and Boba Fett going at it fist to fist, this is the game for you. While the game is not the greatest, the idea of Taras Kasi actually makes sense to me. Martial arts are pretty universal here in the real world, with cultures from around the globe creating their own styles and skills. It then only makes sense that there is a fighting style unique to the galaxy-wide culture of Star Wars that would eventually come about. I like to look at Star Wars through the prism of, if it makes sense here, then it makes sense there. But that said, there is something pretty silly about seeing Han Solo knock out Darth Vader with a super uppercut. Alright, those are my 5 favorite Star Wars sports. Well, at least those were the 5 I could think of without going to Wikipedia. But seriously, go check out Wikipedia, type in sports. There's so many crazy ones out there. It's pretty fun to read. What are your favorite Star Wars sports? I want to know. Email me at 12parsecs.podcast@gmail.com or connect with me on any of my social media accounts. The links can be found on my website, 12parsecs.podcast.com. Thanks for listening. Utini!
You've been listening to Less Than 12 Parsecs, the fastest Star Wars podcast in the galaxy, part of the expanded Fandomverse network of shows. For links and show notes, visit our website, 12parsecsPodcast.com. Follow Less Than 12 Parsecs on Twitter at 12parpod, on Instagram at 12parsecsPodcast, on Tumblr at 12parsecsPodcast, and find us on Facebook as well. And please let us know what you think. Email us at 12parsecs.podcast@gmail.com.
Hey, there are only 4 more days to nominate your favorite shows for the 2nd annual Star Wars Podcast Awards. I'm not going to pester you and ask you to vote for Less Than 12 Parsecs as the best new show of the year, but they say it's an honor just to be nominated, and I would love to find out if that's true. Anyway, all I'm saying is that there are links in the show notes and on 12parsecsPodcast.com.
You must do what you feel is right.